Good morning, Northern Michigan, and welcome to a second in our series of videos on birds. Today we will be covering migration, and migration simply means movement. In some cases, movement is simply from the top of a mountain. For example, the dusky grouse from out west moves from elevations of 9,000 to 12,000 feet in the fall and the winter, down to 6,000 to 7,000 feet in the spring and the summer. We also have long-distance migrants. For example, the American golden plover moves from breeding grounds in the high Arctic down to the grasslands of South America, a distance of 8,000 miles one way. And our longest distance migrant is the Arctic tern. They breed way up north in the Arctic and migrate down to Antarctica in the spring and the summer of Antarctica. Then they turn around and come back to the Arctic to breed up here. I've seen them nesting on sandbars in Alaska. Their total distance is 22,000 miles. We learned that some birds stay with us year-round. For example, the chickadee and the blue jay. We will find them in our forests year-round. There are some birds that long-distance migrate. This is a black and white warbler. This is a yellow warbler. And one we all know and love, the Baltimore Oriole. Also, the beautiful blue indigo bunting. And last, but never least, the ruby-throated hummingbird. Why do these birds leave and the other two stay? It has to do with availability of resources, especially food. These birds in this last group are insectivores, or bug eaters, as I call them. The other two, chickadees and blue jays, will get through the winter on seed and suet. I am going to give you another example of a black-poll warbler, and this is what the male and female look like. Black-poll warblers breed here in Western Canada and the Arctic. Come migration time, they fly all the way over to the coast of Canada, a distance of 3,000 miles already, and then in a flock they take flight. They wing out past Bermuda, flying non-stop over this length of ocean, and they land in South America. Okay? Some even go further to southern South America, making their migration one way, a distance of about 8,000 miles. What tools do these birds use to navigate? They have a sun compass, so that if they navigate and migrate during the day, they use the sun to orient themselves. Now, speaking of daylight migration, you will find mostly the raptors and geese and waterfowl migrating by day. The raptors in particular ride warm thermal currents up and then glide to the next one so that they reduce flapping, because migration is very energy intensive. Those that migrate by night, which are our passerines or our songbirds, have a star compass. They navigate according to the stars in the heavens. Birds also have an innate map. They're born knowing kind of where to go and how to do it. That's not to say that some don't get off course, because they do. And finally, birds have a magnetic compass which helps them to orient and fly in the correct direction. Now, what are some challenges that birds face as they migrate? The first one is weather. As storms pick up, hurricanes, tornadoes, birds have to hunker down and wait them out. There are also predators that will try and eat them as they are migrating. Tall, lighted buildings will attract nighttime migrants so that the birds become disoriented and confused and can crash into the buildings. And finally, but not least, we have habitat loss. As a bird migrates, it uses vast stores of energy, and it has that stored energy because it's bulked up and gotten layers of fat. If a bird is tired and needs to recharge, it will land. If there's no suitable habitat, it's not going to find enough to feed on. Now, let me end here with a summertime resident that we all know and love, the ruby-throated hummingbird. We know this is a male because of his red gorget. Females have plain throats, and if you're lucky and you get up close enough and you see one with a plain throat but that has faint black markings on it, you've got a juvenile male. His red gorget has not grown in yet. These hummingbirds weigh as much as 1 penny. In order to migrate, they bulk up to the tune of 2 pennies worth of fat. And these guys migrate from northern Michigan and further north all the way down to Central and South America. And that means they have to cross this Gulf of Mexico 500 to 600 miles. They cannot stop, they cannot eat, they cannot drink, and they sleep on the wing. So when these guys show up to your backyard flowers and hummingbird feeders, say, "Welcome back, ruby throats. We've missed you, and we're glad you've made it." That ends Bird Video 2. Have a great day, Northern Michigan.